Hello, Ben.
Hello, Yaron.
How are you today?
I'm good. I'm good. How are you?
Very good.
Great. We're gonna start our monthly webinar in a few more minutes. I see that more people are joining us. This is good to see a lot of people here, and we have a really interesting webinar today. We're going to talk about a lot of issues. We're going to talk about interesting news sectors. We're going to talk about what the algorithm thinks about the future indices and futures for the next month. And we also have a really interesting guest today,
Special
Dr.
guest,
Lipa,
right?
special guest, Dr. Lipa Roitman. The guy, the brain behind the algorithm is going to talk about machine learning, deep learning, and how actually you can predict the stock market. So we have a really interesting subjects today in our webinars, so stay tuned. And I'm going to start in 2 more minutes.
Ben, what do you think about the market?
The market is really interesting, I think. And it's not what I think, it's what the algorithms think about the market.
Right.
And we're going to see it in our last slides of the webinar. We're going to see the forecast for the next month for all the main indices in the US. And we got some interesting indices there. So it's worth waiting.
Yeah, meanwhile, please use the Q&A window and share with us what is your favorite stocks for the upcoming month. We will try to share in this webinar several live predictions based on our AI algorithm. So please use the Q&A and we will try to cover as many tickers as possible today in this special webinar.
Yeah, so feel free to ask us questions during the webinar. Just a quick disclaimer before we're going to start that first, the daily market forecast does not provide personal investment or financial advice to individuals or act for personal financial, legal, and institutional investment advisors or individually advocate to purchase or sell any security investment or the use of any particular financial strategy. All investing stock forecasting strategies include risk, the risk of loss for some or even all of your capital. Before pursuing any financial strategies discussed on this webinar, you should always consult with licensed financial advisor. I think we're ready, Yaron. What do you say?
Yeah, I'm ready. I see already interesting tickers, by the way, in the Q&A window. Okay, so today we're going to have a super interesting webinar. We are going to talk about the market. And as Ben mentioned, we have a special guest today. We have Dr. Roitman with special guest lecture covering artificial intelligence, machine learning, and also how I know first is utilizing AI in order to predict the markets. And then we are going to talk about the market. We are going to talk about the leading stocks and the leading sectors for the upcoming month. And we are going to start with a quick introduction of I Know First, and we're going to hear Dr. Roitman, and we are going to drill down to the markets and to talk about what the AI algorithm is identifying today, basically. So I will start with a quick introduction. I Know First, we are an AI company. Our main solution is a predictive algorithm that generates daily forecasts for the financial markets and identifies the most promising investment opportunities. We are utilizing artificial intelligence, more specifically deep learning, artificial neural network, genetic algorithms to predict the financial market. Our predictive algorithm is generating daily forecast for over 13,500 assets from different asset classes, equities, ETFs, commodities, currencies, interest rates, and also indices with daily forecast for multiple timeframes, short-term, mid-term, and also long-term. This is a global solution. We are covering over 50 global stock exchanges. Of course, the main focus is in the US markets, but we are also generating daily prediction for the European markets and most of the exchanges around the globe, including China, India, and even more. And if we jumping to the market, Ben, what do we see here?
Yeah, we're actually seeing the forecast from last Friday. Just to give you a quick example of the algorithm abilities, this is the 7 days forecast. We're going to explain all the numbers in a few minutes, don't worry, but just to show you what was the leading three stocks in this specific forecast from the 15th of August. We can find the Wolf, we can find LEN, which we're going to talk about later on, interesting stock, and CLBT, and we see three of the stocks actually went up. Those are the leading one with the strongest signals from Friday. And a quick anecdote about Wolf. We actually predicted, even in the August 12th, it was 5 days ago, the algorithm put it in the 10 best stocks to hold, and we can see that it actually went up by 66% in a period of 3 days. So Wolf continuing to be a good stock to hold, and we see the performance in the last Friday and in the last 3 days. We're going to explain everything you're going to see. Just a quick example to show you what our clients got in the last trading day, which was on Friday.
Right. Dino First predictive algorithm was developed by our R&D team that being led by Dr. Lipa Roitman, our co-founder and chief scientist. We are going to host Dr. Roitman later on in this webinar. Dr. Roitman has over 23 years of experience in the field of AI, machine learning, chaos theory. He's from the Weizmann Institute of Science, and is leading our R&D team that is basically includes PhDs, machine learning experts. We have math professor from Tel Aviv University, as well as employees with the background of data science, math, statistics, and also IDF veterans from different units. My name is Yaron Golgher. I'm the co-founder and the CEO of I Know First. I'm also lecturing for FinTech and AI and one of the leading universities in Israel. I'm engineer with EMBA. Ben, please introduce yourself.
Yeah, my name is Ben Rubin. I'm the head of advisory in I Know First. Used to work as a financial advisor for 7 years in one of the leading banks in Israel, and that's it. I'm gonna go walk through you with the webinar today, and I'm gonna see you soon.
Right. So the I Know First predictive algorithm is actually trusted by the world's leading hedge funds, investment houses, banks, family offices, and also high net worth individuals from all over the world that utilizing our AI in order to identify opportunities in the market on a daily basis. In this list, you can find leading hedge funds, leading banks from all over the globe, and also leading investment houses. With some of them, we have basically built together several AI-powered investment vehicles that are available in the Tel Aviv Stock Exchange right now. And we are in the process of doing it in additional regions. The solution that you're about to see has received several international awards, including from UBS, NTT Data in Japan, and also from the Geneva Wealth Tech Forum. And in our website, you can find several reviews that can assist you to identify the package that might be relevant for you. We are really proud to cooperate with Reifman University. We are delivering their fintech course for the third year already. And in the website, you can also find different articles and media coverage about the predictive algorithm, as well as client reviews.
Yep, and you're more than welcome to join our WhatsApp group or our growing community. You can scan the QR code that is in your screen right now and join our WhatsApp group in which we are sending a forecast and AI articles and a lot of interesting things about the market. So join us now. And today, after this webinar, we're gonna publish the forecast of the Magnificent Seven for the next 2 weeks. So it's worth being in this WhatsApp group. Just scan the QR code and get right in.
Correct. Basically, we are offering two solutions to our client. On one end, we are offering a daily prediction that includes the most interesting opportunities that being sent basically to your email on a daily basis. Each heat map is identifying opportunities for 6 timeframes: short-term, mid-term, and also long-term. So we are going to talk about this solution in this webinar, basically. And on top of that, we have developed an additional tier. Basically, here we have developed several systematic trading strategies that converting the daily forecast into a systematic portfolio. We are doing it with institutional clients from all over the world. Basically, we have tailored and designed very interesting systematic trading strategies that every month constructing a portfolio, and every 4 weeks basically conducting a rebalancing in the portfolio. We have several examples to share also about this solution at the second part of this webinar. The I-Know-First predictive algorithm includes 3 components that basically available to all our clients. By utilizing the first component, it's possible to identify investment opportunities on a daily basis for different timeframes: short-term, mid-term, and also long-term, basically stock picks that our AI is identifying. On top of that, there is a stock market intelligence component that assisting to our client to identify the best sectors to focus on, best industries, best regions around the globe, and also which sectors and industries we should basically avoid. I can tell you that right now there is a very interesting industry that we are going to basically to talk about in this webinar that we believe is the most relevant in the market right now. The third component is providing a custom solution based on each client portfolio. So every day, let's say that Ben here has a specific portfolio, the AI is providing customized prediction based on Ben's specific portfolio. And by basically combining those 3 components, it's possible on one end to identify opportunities in the market, on the other end to get stock market intelligence to identify the best region and the best sectors in the market, and also to get and to monitor our own portfolio by utilizing the custom AI-powered prediction that our algorithm is providing. Okay, Ben, the first surprise, right?
Yeah, yeah. We have a lecture from Dr. Lipa Roitman, the co-founder and the chief scientist of I Know First. And he's going to talk about artificial intelligence, machine learning, and deep learning. And I think it's fascinating to hear from a guy that actually is being expert in this field for over 20 years. And it's super interesting to see what he has to say about this subject. So listen carefully.
Hello, I'm going to talk to you about the science of machine learning and what we do with it. The purpose of machine learning is to learn from data, discover the rules, and create predictions from new data. First, we start with collection of observations. We use large data sets of images, text, or numbers, and there are neural network algorithms that we use to identify patterns, detecting features in patterns in data, and from this we build models to that tells us if this is what we see, then that is the outcome. That's called prediction. The goal is a generalization. A generalization means that machine should be able to see new data and recognize it and classify it the way and make correct predictions from it. The prediction is if the model is properly trained, it should make good predictions like stock prices up or down or disease risk. Continuous learning through new observation is very important. We keep adding new data, and machine keeps learning it and improving the model. The basis is machine learning. It focuses on specific tasks. The next step is artificial intelligence. It builds on machine learning to create a higher level intelligence, human-like intelligence. Mostly it's based on a combination of different models, not just one model. And it allows the broader reasoning, adaptability, and decision making. There are also large language models that allows plain people to interact, not computer literate people, to interact with machine, asking simple question and get simple answers. And it also knows how to refer to specialized AI applications. What is a specialized AI application? Is the one that designed for specific tasks, for instance, for medical diagnosis, for fraud detection, or financial forecast. The future goal is a general AI. That's a system where you can interact with it like with another human, and that is a bigger goal that work is still in progress. Now I'm going to talk about what to do specifically at I Know First. And I Know First we learn and forecast multivariate historical data based on research into chaos theory. We learn the markets where each participant is affecting and being affected by others. And we learn how this interaction goes on, and we are able to predict, to look at the data and predict what happens next. That's the most important for market forecasting. The system measures noise and separates signal from noise. We use thousands of independent predictors to create safety in numbers. We use genetic algorithm to continuously improve the system by deleting non-performing predictors and creating new predictors by permutations of best models. The outcome is predictable. The forecast is the two numbers. One is predictability, the other is the signal. Predictability is a historical correlation between the signal and future outcome. How certain is the system about this prediction? The second number is a signal. It gives the direction of the prediction, whether it's up and down and how much. And the prediction is based on a weighted average of many different predictors and different models, weighted predictability. And the signal has to be always looked with the background of predictability. The only high predictability signals have meanings. Thank you very much.
All right. So that was Dr. Lipa Roitman talking about our predictive algorithm, and the full presentation will actually we'll upload to the WhatsApp group and to the YouTube channel, so you can find it. You can find it over there. And I'm telling you, it's fascinating to hear the doctor. And
we know that it was a blurry for some slides, so we're going to make sure that we will upload it to our YouTube channel and the WhatsApp. So make sure that you are part of the group. We will share the WhatsApp link later on. And basically, the bottom line, or the process that we are conducting in order to generate the forecast, our prediction is collecting quantitative data that's coming from the entire financial market. We are collecting data from the equities market. We are collecting data from the interest rate market. We are collecting data that's coming from the commodities and currencies market. And basically, every day, the predictive algorithm is constructing and building the complex network that exists in the financial market by utilizing our technology. So without any human intervention, every day, the AI is building this network, and you are receiving basically the bottom line. You are receiving daily forecast for multiple time frames, from the short term to the midterm and also to the long term, with the best opportunities that the AI is highlighting on a daily basis. This process is being done on every day. So every day you are receiving fresh forecast with the daily updated forecast for the market, and also the opportunities that the AI is identifying. We are combining different AI approaches, and as Dr. Roitman mentioned, we are utilizing deep learning, artificial neural networks, genetic algorithms, supervised and reinforcement learning. And the idea here, or the goal, is to separate and to focus on the most predictable assets on a daily basis. So every day, the predictive algorithm is, let's say, if we are focusing on the S&P 500 universe, we are applying our predictive algorithm over this specific universe. The AI algorithm is separating the predictable part from the S&P, the most predictable S&P 500 stocks, and filtering out the stocks that are not predictable every day, basically.
all right. So how actually the forecast looks like? The forecast looks in the shape of a heat map, as we can see here. The green cell represent long position, while the red one represent short positions. And we are using two indicators, as Dr. Lipa Roitman said, to actually rank the entire investment universe. We are using the signal and the predictability. The signal is the number that you see in the middle of each and every square. And as you can find here, for example, in NVIDIA, it's 1.32. And it's our internal index. It's moved from minus infinity to infinity, actually. And it helps us to rank the entire investment universe from the stocks that's supposed to go up in the strongest way, that is located on the left top corner of the forecast, and going down to the right until we can see the most negative forecast. In this case, it's Wolf with minus 671 signal, which means that that stock should move in the down direction, the strongest among all those stocks. So the signal is actually is helping us to rank the entire investment universe. We are using it to our all 13,500 assets on a daily basis, and we can identify and focus on the most strong movement stocks that we can find in each and every forecast, in each and every time frame. And the second indicator is the predictability indicator. It's located on the bottom left corner of each and every square, as you can see here. For NVIDIA, it's 0.46. And the predictability actually tells us how good the algorithm can predict the specific asset. And again, as Dr. Lipa Roitman said, it actually remove the noises, the highest the predictability, the less noise that we have on this specific asset. So we would look for a highest value in the predictability area. So this index is in Pearson correlation measurement, and it moves from -1 to 1, while 0 represents around 50% probability that the asset will move to the predicted direction. 1 is like 100%. So let's say that 0.5 giving us present like 75 probability that the asset will move to the predicted direction. So in both of those cases, we will look for the highest values, but we will give more weight to the predictability indicator. We find it more important than the signal one. We're going to first try to lock and focus on the highest predictability level, and then look for the highest signals if we are looking for the long direction. And we're going to see a few examples from the recent days in two more slides. So just to let you see how the forecast actually look like on a daily basis. After signing into our service, you will get the 6 time frames of 3 days, 7 days, 14 days, 1 month, 3 months, and 1 year. Yes, you get all 6 time frames on a daily basis. In each and every time frame, you have the best 10 stocks to call long, and the best 10 stocks to short if we have 10 stocks for that. We can see several cases here that we don't have 10 short indices, just like 4 incidents. So you're getting this forecast every day. You get best 10 stock. If you want to focus on the longer time frames of 1 month or 3 months, you just check those forecasts and check the stocks that are appearing in those longer time frames. And you can see some of the stocks are appearing in the multiple time frames from 3 days, 7 days to 1 month, 3 months, and even 1 year. So you better look for the stocks that actually appears in a multiple time frame and has the highest predictability level. It will make your investment much, much better. So this is how the forecast basically looks like, and you get it to your mail every morning before the trading starts. You get the best opportunities for the upcoming trading day. So if we'll check the last few days, we are seeing here a forecast from August 11, was generated on August 11. It's a 3 days forecast. We can see the time frame on the top left corner of each and every forecast. And we'll see the 10 stocks that the algorithm actually suggests us to buy on this date and to hold for a period of 3 days. To the right, we can find the performance of those 10 stocks. And in the bottom of each and every table here, we can find the iron first average. What is the average of those 10 stocks together compared to the S&P and to the benchmark performance in those 3 days, of course. So we can see stocks such as NVAX and AVAH moved 17 and 12%. And in this case, AVAH has the highest signal. We can see the signal here is 99. But the highest predictability was actually at NEPH that we can see here, that's 0.2, that moved 2.5 in this specific case. So we can see another thing that as long as we go in the longer time frames, the signals and the predictability levels are going up. For example, GNRC that made some significant move lately. We can see it in the head of our table. This is the forecast from August 6th for a 7 days time frame. And we can see interesting stocks such as IBP. IBP, by the way, is from the home builders universe. We're going to talk about the home builders later on. I think it's a really interesting sector. And also we can find here, for example, LEN, which also belongs to the home builders, XHB universe. As well, we can find here NVIDIA, of course, AEO, NMRK, and many other stocks, real estate companies such as CBRE. And in this specific forecast, which is the top 10 forecast, top 10 package, additional to the 10 best stocks that you can hold for a period of 1 week, you also get a forecast about the index itself, about the S&P 500 index. You can see it here. And that's actually appears in all our top packages, top 10, top 20, top 40. In all of the top packages, you get the best 10 stocks for long, best 10 stocks for short, and the forecast about the index, S&P 500 index itself. So this is the 7 days time frame. And if we go up to the 14 days, as we can find here in the beginning of August, we'll find those 10 stocks in which some of them made some significant moves. We can find, for example, ARDX, which moved 40% in 2 weeks time frame. And if you'll check closely, you will see that the ARDX has the highest predictability level out of those 10 stocks. So again, focus on the high predictability level. That's the key for ideal investments. And we also see that SPRT in this case has the highest signal. It's located on the top left corner of the forecast. And we can see that the signal is 1.54. And the performance of this stock was 32% in a period of 2 weeks. And we know that August was kind of volatile month. While the S&P just did the 1.7%, we can find stocks that made here 30 and 40%, which is quite spectacular for this kind of volatile month. Another example for a really good predictability is IEST. This is a 1 month forecast. It's a long time forecast. And we can see that it was generated on July 13. And IEST, that has the highest predictability level in this universe, moved 12%, while the S&P just did the 3.3, and the average of this forecast was 12%, which is quite amazing. We find really interesting stocks here. Actually, you can find here AMHO and HOV, which also belong to the home builders universe, the TREX as well. And we can see also VRT. VRT is actually a company that our business is in the cooling business of a big servers company. And it actually have some contracts with NVIDIA as well. And that specific stock made 11%. And of course, we can find AMSC that also moved almost 40% in this 1 month period. Jumping into the longest, almost the longest time frame of 3 months, we can also find some more volatile universe of stocks. In this case, we can find the Dave that actually moves 60% and has the highest signal here, as you can see, 18.3. And again, we can find a stock with high predictability, such as IESC as well, that jumped 34%. We can find Robinhood, that has a really strong signal. We can find Boot, we can find CVNA, and many other interesting stocks. IBXX that have has a crazy performance from the beginning of the year, and actually related to the healthcare universe. We can find Comtech, the Israeli company, and again, this is the top 10, and we can see we have a diversity of stocks from different investment universe. If it's semiconductors or it's BAS, stocks, healthcare, technology, car rental. We have a lot of the mix from different universe that the algorithm picks and identify the best stocks to hold for a period of 3 months.
Yeah, by the way, look at the very interesting predictability of IESC, 0.75 for 3 months. It's very high and very promising. One of my favorite strategies is basically to monitor the long-term predictions, the 3 month and the 1 year that we're going to see in the next slide. And to, even if you're trading for the short term, I do suggest to take into account the long-term prediction and to focus on the most predictable assets. IESC is a perfect example, very high predictability. Remember, the range is between -1 and 1, so you are in a very good, you have a very good number here, very good indicator, and very unique predictability. So try, even if you're trading for the short term, try to take into account the 3 month, even the 1 year predictability, and to focus on the most predictable assets. In this case, yeah, again, we can see here, for example, Plantier. Who thought about Plantier 1 year ago?
Exactly.
Plantier is the S&P stock with the highest performance, strongest performance in 2025. So here we can see a very nice combination between signal and predictability, right, Ben?
Yep, we see that in the 1 year time frame, and the signals and the predictability are the highest, and that's why you like this time frame. And even if you don't trade for a period of 1 year, we suggest you to take a look at this forecast. You can find some interesting stocks even for 3 months or 1 month, because if they appear in the 1 year, that means they have a really strong signal and have high predictability. So we really like and prefer the 1 year, the 3 month, and the 1 month time frame as our default. And again, you can find stocks such as Carnival, such as Bank of America, and many other interesting stocks in that universe. And lately, we see a lot of money that transfers to the AI sector. If it's the US government that pours a lot of money on this specific sector, or the rest of the world actually, that all are trying to be best at AI, and we actually created a package that holds together all the AI company, all the companies that actually are using AI or are related to the AI sector, and you can find their stocks such as, of course, Palantir, as talked earlier, KTOS, which is a drone company, that did the really big contract with the US Navy. We can find their INTU, we can find the AMAT, the semiconductor company. And this specific package focused on AI stocks. And it's actually that AI picks AI stock. It's kind of crazy world that we live in. But this package was really popular and really successful from the beginning of 2025. Another interesting and really successful package is the Buzz package. To whom of you don't know, the Buzz ETF, as we can see here from the beginning of the year, almost performed 30% in 2025. The Buzz package is actually holds all the companies and stocks that everybody talks about, if it's in the coffee break or you hear about them in the social media or digital media. You can find their stocks such as Intel, Palantir, Meta, Cusco, Nvidia, Apple, Broadcom, Snowflake, Affirm, and many other stocks, as you can see here in this pretty magnificent list. And in this pool of list, we added the Bitcoin forecast, the gold forecast, and the silver forecast. So to all of those, the algorithm actually scan those stocks on a daily basis and give you the best Buzz stock for different time frames, for all the 6 time frames. I really liked this package from the beginning of the year, and I actually said that in the last webinars. That was one of my favorite package. I'm gonna tell you what's my favorite package for the next month in a few more slides. But the Buzz package actually showed really good performance, and if we're checking some of the time frames, we can find their stocks such as SoFi and AVGO, as I said, and Nvidia. And this is just in the 14 days time frame from July. I mean, this August, you can actually perform 6%, almost 7% in your portfolio, while the S&P did just 1.5. Another interesting time frame is the 3 months, while the Bitcoin was marked here on May 9th. And 9th of May, we can see that the Bitcoin, and if you check what was the price of the Bitcoin that date, you will be quite surprised. And the algorithm not just put it with the strongest signal, but also gave it one of the highest predictability levels. So the algorithm really can predict really good the movement of the Bitcoin itself. And we can see some other interesting stuff such as Robinhood also performed almost 100 and more than 112%. Sorry, in those 3 months. And we can find the RBLX, we can find Microsoft, Nvidia, CVNA, all the stocks that everybody talks about. You will get a daily forecast about them, and a really, really interesting package that we have. Another interesting package that is really popular is the ETF package. The ETF package that actually covers all US ETFs. And as we can see, for example, XHB, which is the home builders. If you don't know the name, the home builders XHB, you better know it because it's getting one of the hottest sectors in this month. And it appeared in our ETF package among the semiconductors universe, as you can see, stocks, XSD, which is the semiconductors in equal weight. And see the differences between the XSD and the stocks. It's quite interesting. And again, you can see that the majority of the ETF in this time frame was focusing on technology, XLK, VGT, but also can find from a variety of geographical and the geographical places diversity, such as the EWI, for example, in this forecast from May, which actually focused on the Italian market, MSCI Italy. You can also find EWG and EWP, which is the Germany and the Spain market, and along with the XLK and XAR, the technology and aerospace and defense. So this package diverse your portfolio in many ways. First, holding an ETF actually lower your risk because you're holding big groups of stocks together. And the second, you have a geographical diversity in your portfolio. You don't just invest in the US, you can be exposed to Taiwan, to Germany, of course, by US ETF, but focusing on different parts of the world. And because our algorithm is global and cover more than 50 stock exchanges around the globe, we can actually identify the best area to be in. And we saw that in the beginning of 2025, when the majority of the ETF that you see here focused basically on Europe. So ETF package, I think, is one of the most must package that you gotta have, and to hold in your portfolio some ETFs. I think it's a really good decision for every investor. And of course, the top 10 are a leading package. This package is actually holding and scanning stocks from the entire US market, from the S&P 500, from the NASDAQ, and from the Russell 1000, and gives you the best stocks, 10 stocks out of those universe. And of course, additional to those stocks, we have a forecast about the S&P 500 index itself. And the top 10 is one of the most popular packages that we have because it covers a really big pool of stocks from the entire US market. So really interesting package. And of course, you get the 6 time frames to all of those packages. All right. So I want to talk to you about the home builders sector, which is seems to be one of the interesting sectors in the last few months. And if we check the S&P 500 universe, or basically the S&P 500 sector's performance in the last month, we'll find that XHB, the home builders, is one of the leading sectors with 10% in the past month. And if you compare to the technology sector that made 0.78, we can see a really interesting movement. And you can see here in our sectors forecast that we actually basically exposed only to our institutional clients. This is the Geeks Level 2 forecast. We can find that in the 30th of July, the sector with the highest predictability level, again, always focus on the predictability level, we can find that the highest one was the XHB. And you can see that 0.56 predictability, which means around almost 80% that this specific sector will move up in the following month. And it did outperform the market almost 4 or 5 more times than the S&P. So this is interesting to see the performance. But basically, we actually had a forecast even before that on 25th of June. And I want to show you the timing of this specific forecast. In 25th of June, the XHB here, as you can see, was again one of the leading sectors from the Geeks Level 2 forecast. And we can see the timing was just about here, which is, I think, quite amazing. After this drop, the algorithm gave a really good forecast about this specific sector. And from that point until now, it made 16.6%. And this is quite remarkable and interesting. And another guy that, I think you know him from the stock market a little bit, Warren Buffett, it was published 2 days ago that he bought 6 new stocks for his portfolio. You can see here in Yahoo Finance which stock it chose. UNH, the healthcare stock, and COR, which is actually is a company that it's an energy company, like a natural energy company. We can find LEN, Lennar, the Lennar company that I'm going to talk about in a second. We can find DHI, and we can find Lamar Advertising, and we can find Allegion. 4 out of those 6 stocks are actually belong from the XHB sector. And Lamar is a digital advertising company, but it also have real estate measures. And DHI is one of the biggest building company in the US. Lennar is also one of the biggest home builders company in the US. And it's interesting to see that 4 out of his 6 stocks that he just bought were actually focusing on the home builder sector. And if we'll check the home builders package that we have, and this is from August 1st, we can see those 3 stocks that he chose are actually in this forecast. I mean, the algorithm actually saw it from the beginning of August, and even more fascinating about that I think Warren Buffett didn't choose the most successful stocks, because if we'll check the 14 days time frame forecast from the home builder package, you would find HOV that actually moved 30%, while DHI moved just 15%, and image and the second stock that he chose moved 19%. So here we can find from the XHB package, which are in this specific package, the algorithm scanning all the best stocks from this specific sector and gives you the best 10 stocks to invest in a period of 14 days, of 1 month, 3 months, and even 1 year. And we can see that the stocks that the algorithm chose gave 12% return in a 14 days time frame from this specific sector. So it's not just that that the algorithm find the right sector to be in August, which was quite, let's say, tricky, because the semiconductors was one of the leading sectors in the last few months, and you all saw it. And now, when it started to slow down a little bit, you need some alternatives to this interesting universe, and home builders was one of them. And not a lot of people or investors even know about this specific sector, because it's related to the real estate sector. It's under the real estate sector, but the real estate has many subsectors to focus on. And this specific one was the outperforming sector of August and even July, which is really, really interesting. And if Buffett is focusing his portfolio for those 4 out of 6 stocks, I think something happening there, and you can get the best out of this sector by entering the XHB package. XHB, of course, is the ETF. You can find the holdings of this specific ETF, but we actually analyzed the entire sector and took all the stocks out of it, scanned it, and gave the algorithm to give us the best opportunities out of this sector. And this is what it does on a daily basis for different time frames.
By the way, once again, we see here that the most predictable stock, HOV, was performing, was delivering the best performance over this short time frame. Again, I do suggest to do this very same exercise, not only with the short term, but also with the long term forecast. But it's interesting to see that HOV, the most predictable stock from this universe, delivered the best return over this short time frame.
Yeah, exactly. And not it just has the highest predictability, it also has the highest signal. So this is like
Right.
a winning combination. of signal and predictability. If you had this forecast, you must have HOV in your portfolio, and because of the signal and because of the predictability, and you would do 30% in a 2 weeks time frame. Again, this is amazing for August, while the S&P did, I think, like 1.2, 1.3 from the beginning of the month. All right, and this is from the 13th of July, another forecast that we can see with the DHI leading MHO, which is really interesting as well, and VR and many other home builder stocks. So this package, and all the packages that I talked about are available for you in our special webinar sale, which will get 1 + 1 for $299 per month. You can choose any 2 packages that you want from the list that we have for you for the special webinar. And you can combine the home builders, you can combine the AI stocks, you can combine the top 10 with which package that you want, no commitment, and you get it for $299 for a month. You can cancel it every time. And this is our first webinar sale. So feel free to join any and combine any 2 packages that you've seen in the webinar so far. And now I want to talk about the AI powered portfolio that we're really proud of in the last few months. Whom of you, which was in our last webinar, we were following this portfolio on a monthly basis. We launched it on the 2nd of April and follow it in each and every month. This specific and unique portfolio is managed by AI only, and every 4 weeks, the algorithm is providing you the best 10 stocks to hold for a period of 4 weeks. You just have to buy those stocks at the same day that we are sending you the rebalance day. You buy those stocks in the closing prices and holding it for a period of 4 weeks. You don't have to choose any time frames. You don't have to look at the signal, the predictability. The algorithm picks the best stocks out of all of our packages and give you the best stocks and sectors to hold and buy for a period of 4 weeks. This is a long-only portfolio. And I want to go up with you and see the performance from the 2nd of April when we launched, and when we actually launched this portfolio, and we can see that so far the portfolio has made 29%, while the S&P made 13%, almost 14%. And I think this is quite remarkable. If we are analyzing this portfolio, we can see that the cumulative return from the 2nd of April is 29%. The alpha over the S&P 500 is 15.6. And we can see the rebalancing date that occurred here in each and every month. And the next rebalance is actually taking place in 2 days from now, 3 days from now, actually, in the 20th of August. The next rebalance is happening, and you want to be there because if you'll see the returns of this portfolio in each and every month, I think you'll be amazed. In the 2nd of April, the first month, we actually had 3.4%, while the S&P went down by almost 2%. The algorithm actually found stocks that went up while the market went down. And if you remember, the market was quite crazy in April. But one of the stocks was Palantir, TTW, Uber, that actually outperformed the market. As you can see here, the return of those stocks. Jumping into April 30, again, the rebalance was really successful with 6.2%, while the S&P made 5.7%, focusing on stocks such as Netflix, and even more than that, we can find some ETF that was suggested, such as XAR, the Aerospace and Defense, that is also available as a package in our website. You can find the German stock exchange, EWG, iShares MSCI Germany, and you can find again XLU and COP and many other stocks and sectors that the algorithm find the best for a period of 4 months. The next rebalance was even more successful with 8% from May till June, while the S&P did just 3%. And you can see AMSC and IESC that we saw earlier was in this rebalance, focusing on NASDAQ, NASDAQ 100 stocks, XAR, and many other stocks, VRT, and that made some significant move. And the semiconductor, of course, that made almost 14% in this time frame, gave us 8% return. Next is June, and we see 11% compared to 4% of the S&P, and we can find UPSC, we can find AMSC, IESC, and many others. Some stocks can repeat themselves from rebalance to rebalance, but some not. But I want to show you the quick attention for XHP that also was one of the leading sectors that the algorithm chose from the 25th of June. So this was a remarkable returns with the alpha of 7% over the S&P 500. The last.
By the way, before you're going to this month, it's interesting to see, you mentioned XHB.
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting to see that XHB is actually not a new choice by our algorithm. We can see that by the end of June, it was there as part of the stock picks that the AI chose for the portfolio. Also, it's interesting to see, of course, UPST, as you mentioned, AMSC, IESC, high predictable stocks.
Yeah, the algorithm focused on the high predictable asset, and we can see the results. But if we'll take this month, we see a little bit more volatility, while the portfolio return is minus 2.4, while the S&P is 1.4. We see some successful stocks and some are not. I must say a few notes. To many of those stocks that we see here was earnings during that month. For example, TDG had earnings during that month and made it a little bit more volatile. But that's the result so far. It didn't end yet. We have it until the 20th of August. But we can find MSTR. We can find again the home builder that was really successful. But some stocks, as we can see here, didn't perform really well. But I think it will improve by the end of this rebalancing on the 20th of August. We have 2 more days, and I think we're going to see some nice results by then. But in the majority of the cases, as you can see here, the rebalancing, the P&L, and not just outperformed the S&P, it made some significant alpha of 7, 4, and even 5% during the month. So for the whom of you that want a long-time investment portfolio, that looking not just for a month or a few days, that want a stable, interesting, managed AI portfolio, I think this is the right solution for you. And for this specific webinar, we have a really good sale. Our second webinar sale is the 3-month subscription for the AI-powered portfolio. You paid every 3 months, and you get it for $330 per month, and you'll get the AI portfolio. The next rebalance, again, is on the 20th of August. In 3 more days, we're going to have a new rebalance with new stock. So I think it's one of our most interesting and amazing product. This package it doesn't taking a lot of efforts out of you. You just get 10 stocks, buy them, and hold them for a 4 weeks period. After those 4 months, you get the new stocks, and again, at the closing price, you buy the new assets. It's a mixture of stocks and sectors, and I think it's diverse. It's giving good diverse to your portfolio, and of course, the AI is choosing the stock, and it does that the best. The third and the most interesting webinar sale that we have for you, I think it's a 12-month subscription, while you can combine one of the packages that you just saw in the webinar and the AI powered portfolio together. You get both of them for $209 per month. They're paid every 12 months, and you get one package of your choice and the AI-powered portfolio. And of course, you can switch and change a package on a monthly basis. So you can try all of our packages and go through from package to package once a month, and you get the AI-powered portfolio. I think it's one of our best webinar sales that we have. Combining those two is actually combining some more short-time trade for like 3 days, 7 days, even 2 weeks, and a long-term portfolio that holds the stocks for a period of 1 month and change once every 4 weeks.
Right. So on one hand, I see questions regarding this combination. So to clarify, on one hand, you're going to receive on a daily basis package that monitoring the market for you. You can focus on the home builders, for example, or to take the top 10 package that screening the entire US market. And so on daily basis, you will receive opportunities, and you can combine it with the monthly portfolio. So once per month, you will receive the portfolio, the very same portfolio that Ben shared with you, just in fresh new portfolio for the next 4 weeks, with the best opportunities that the AI is identifying that are relevant for the upcoming 4 weeks.
Exactly. And again, the first webinar sale is the 1+1 for $299 per month. You can choose 2 packages with any commitment, and you can cancel it anytime. You can choose the home builders with the S&P 500 package, and you can mix with 2 packages that you like. And the second one is the AI-powered portfolio, which provides you the AI-powered portfolio for 3 months for $330 per month. And the next rebalance is happening in the 20th of August. And our third webinar sale, again, is the long-time subscription for 12 months. You can choose any package that you want, and you get the AI portfolio for $209 per month. And I think, again, it's one of the most interesting and exciting webinars and webinar sales that we had so far. All right, Yaron, tell us about our choice.
So for the next month, actually, you convinced me about the XHB. It's very interesting industry right now. So I think it's making sense to monitor the stock picks that the AI is identifying from this specific industry. It's very cool to see that Warren Buffett is using I Know First services in order to find opportunities here. And on top of that, I would suggest to utilize the AI-powered portfolio And again, it's interesting to see the choices there. Basically, the algorithm here is focusing on the most predictable stocks. It's in some months we saw very high return. Right now in this month we are a little behind the S&P. But I'm looking forward for the new portfolio and to see the choices.
Yep. My choice was actually I also wanted the XHP, but you stole it from me, so I actually chose the S&P 500 package, which also interesting because you get from different universe, if it's the technology, if it's XLY, the retail, or many other sectors. The S&P 500 holds the biggest companies, the more stable companies. And I think it's an interesting time for this specific package. And of course, the portfolio, which bring us the best out of the best from each and every package. I don't think we can miss that. So those are my two choices for the following month. And in a few more slides, we're going to see what the algorithm actually picked and what he thinks about the next month and what are the best sectors to be in for the following month. All right, but before that, we're going to talk also about the other side of the map, the short side. Yaron, you want to talk about that?
Yep. Yes. What's interesting about this algorithm is that it's actually generating also sometimes in some conditions in the market. It's providing a very important indicator regarding corrections in the market. And we have seen it in 2020. By the end of February, we started to see negative forecast for the S&P 500, and also the strongest signals came from the bottom of the heat map. But we don't need to go 5 years in history. We can also see the predictions by the end of March 2025. Back then, again, we started to see negative forecast for the S&P 500, and the strongest signals came from the bottom of the heat map. And now, all the top 10, top 20, and the top 5 packages include S&P 500 forecast, the index forecast. And, if I can add an additional option for the packages that I think relevant for the upcoming period, I do suggest also to consider to receive the top 10 or the top 20 package because of that important element. This opportunity to get not only the stock picks for both long and short, but also to get insights regarding the direction of the market. Right now, actually, Ben is going to talk about the updated S&P 500 forecast, but I do suggest to receive this indicator on a daily basis.
Yep, and we also saw it in the markets in 2025. The algorithm gave us a really good prediction and good heads up in 20th of February before we saw the big drop on the S&P. We could find the volatility was up and the S&P index was red, as well as the 1 month forecast that we saw that was also red from the S&P of the NASDAQ. Both of those index was read by the algorithm, which gave us a heads up before upcoming volatility. And also in April, when you see this map for the next 7 days, you understand that something is wrong with the market, and maybe you should consider maybe reduce your portfolio or maybe sell a little bit your portfolio, because we're seeing a lot of the indices here are really, really red and the volatility is up. So the algorithm also can utilize as the market intelligence tool that help us to know when the dangers are and how to avoid them. So this is for the short side of the map. And as we saw some examples from last Friday, from the top 10 universe, we find Wolf and Land that we talked about that the Oracle also bought. And if we'll check another interesting forecast, here we can find the stocks Land, PHM, and NTRA. Also, 3 of them went up, but this is just for 1 day of trading. This is a 1-week forecast. So the algorithm thinks it's going to work pretty well in the next 7 days. And just in the first day, we already see some good results from this forecast. So just a quick look for how the forecast looks like. Of course, in the original forecast, you have 10 stocks, not just the first 4. I'll just snap those to give you a quick example of the algorithm ability. All right. The next thing I'm going to talk about is our trading strategies that we offer to our institutional clients. I think it's a really interesting subject. If you actually know the Geeks Level 1 and the Geeks Level 2 universe, you should. If you don't know, I mean, you should know it because it's a really interesting universe. The Level 1 is actually the 11 main sectors in the S&P 500. The Geeks Level 2 are the 24 industries that belong to those 11 main sectors. For example, the home builders that we just talked about, XHB, is actually belong to the real estate sector. It's one of the real estate sectors. By the way, the real estate sector doesn't look that good, but the home builders does look good. So it's interesting to see that the differences between the sector and the subsectors. For example, also the semiconductors belongs to the XLK, to the technology sector that we also can find here. So we took all of those sector and subsectors and also threw a few stocks inside from the S&P 500 universe, 5 actually the most predictable stocks from the S&P 500. And we actually created a strategy, a long-short strategy that the algorithm picks the best Geeks Level 1 ETF and Geeks Level 2 and the 5 most predictable stocks from the S&P. And the strategy actually gave us a quite outstanding performance. If we're checking from the January 2020 up until now, this strategy gave us 585%, while the S&P gave 95%. And if we break it down to year by year, we can find that in each and every year, we are outperforming the S&P, which I'm telling you, is one of the hardest tasks in the stock market universe. I remember when I've been a financial advisor, even whatever you do, it's really, really hard to beat the S&P. But in this strategy, we actually managed to do it almost every year, I think every year, from 2020 up until now. And not just that, we also did that while our maximum drawdown, which is, I'm getting you into the institutional universe a little bit. The maximum drawdown, it means the highest point to the lowest point. What was happening, like from the highest point to the lowest point during the year. And we can see that we actually moved less. The drawdown was even smaller from the one of the S&P 500 index. It's a really good sign for a low volatility strategy and high performance returns. And this combination is a winning combination. And we have a few of our institutional clients that are actually using this specific strategy. And from January 2024, we can see that this strategy actually performed 57% and outperformed the S&P by 23%, with a really, really good rebalancing. If you'll check the performance of Eino first compared to the S&P, you will see really good results. And just giving you a few tastes from the last rebalancing. If we're talking about February, we can see that we have a positive return of almost 2%, while the S&P had minus 3.6%. And I remind you, 80% of this strategy is actually focusing on sectors. We're not holding, the majority is not stock, it's sectors. And we can see the sectors that we decided to short during this month and the stocks that the algorithm chose to short it. You can see the returns here of each and every asset. In March as well, while the S&P went down, we actually used it for doing short and made this 2.6 return, which was also quite amazing. And another interesting rebalance that I want to take you is actually the one that happened on April. In this specific month, the algorithm put XLK, the technology sector, in the head of this strategy. This sector made 10% in this month. But the amazing thing about this month, that the algorithm is actually also giving the weight of each and every asset. So XLK in this case got 31% of the weight from the portfolio. It means that 30% of the portfolio we held XLK, and it actually did 10%, which is quite unique and interesting for this universe. And of course, we have June as well with really successful performance. And so this combined strategy, again, made some really nice return from the beginning of this year as well. Year to date, we can find 21%, while the S&P made 9.6. So far, it looks really good for the combined strategy. So if some of you are using or want to use one of our strategies, feel free to reach us, and we can provide you a strategy that can fit for you. High net worth individual, institutional clients, investment houses, you're all welcome to approach us, and we'll find the best strategy for you guys.
Yeah, as Ben mentioned, I think the most interesting thing about this strategy is that most of the exposure is done by using ETFs or sectorial ETFs. As Ben mentioned, 80% of this strategy is relying on ETFs, and despite that, we can see the amazing returns that we do see here. So this is one thing, and it's very important not only when we're going to the long side, but also when we're shorting. When you're shorting and using sectorial ETFs, you have less risk in terms of the risk of exposing yourself to a short squeeze. And by using sectorial ETFs, you minimizing this specific risk. And it's very interesting to see that with very low drawdown, the AI managed to build such an interesting portfolios. By the way, here we can see, I think this is the most interesting month, April 2025. We saw it, by the way, in the two portfolios here and also in the AI portfolio, that despite the drop in the market, the AI managed to build a portfolio that was outperforming the market tremendously.
Yep. And as said, it's a long short strategy, and it actually works in any kind of type of market, going up or going down. All right, so if just a quick look for our other packages that we offer you in our webinar sales. It's the Robinhood package that chooses the best package out of the Robinhood platform. We also have the tech package that focuses on tech stock, crypto package. The crypto is bubbling right now. We saw the Ethereum, we saw the Bitcoin with a really great move. So we also have more than 100 cryptocurrencies forecast for you guys, and 4 different packages of this universe. So the crypto is also available in our website. We have the world indices that focus on the most 175 main indices in the world. If it's India, if it's China, if it's Argentina, Spain, whatever you choose, we have it in the world indices. We have the commodities forecast as well that also focus on gold, silver, uranium, coffee, and many other commodities. And of course, currencies. Also, a currencies forecast. You guys that trade the Forex can also use this forecast that we offer you in the webinar sale. Energy stocks and pharma stocks, utilities package, you name it, and we have it if it's a sector or even geographical forecast, if it's the European stocks, Canadian stocks. You can also get Canadian stocks in our website, Chinese, both stock exchange, you can find it as well. And of course, India, that we also provide for 100,000 investors in the India. We provide a forecast through Shunya, that one of the largest, like the India Robinhood's brokerage firm, and through them we're providing 100,000 Indian investor our service, and you can see the platform in the desktop and in the mobile is available for the Indian investors. And all right, before we're gonna see what happened next month, we're gonna see what happened in the last webinar. We gave you that forecast from the 20th of July, and you can see that if we'll go and focus on the most predictable, again, most predictable sector, you can find XHB here. We gave it to you in the last webinar, actually, just have to look for it. We can find XME, which is metal and mining, was in the strongest signal. The predictability is a little bit low, but we can see that the signal is pretty strong. We have the semiconductors with 3.8, IYEW, which is the technology sector, also with 2.9, and XLK. All of those are actually outperformed the S&P. You can find all the sectors from the last month. And now, let's see what the algorithm thinks about the next month. All right, this is a forecast from today for the best indices for the following month. It's a 1-month time frame, and you can see that the XHB is jumped in the top of this table. We can also see that the semiconductors is still a good sector to be in. We can find XSD, which is also the semiconductors equal weight. I can also find here interesting indices such as Japan. You can see TopX, which is the Japanese stock exchange, and EWJ, which is the ETF that follows Japan, is in the leading places here with high predictability level. We can also find European banks, SX7E. This indicator means points for European banks. And we can find the retail XRT is pretty good, and the NASDAQ also positive, NASDAQ 100. And pretty much the market looks pretty positive for the next month. We can find the S&P here with a good signal in the top part of the table. I cut the table into 2. This is the upper part. This is the lower part because it's too long. And in the other side of the map, we can find actually some interesting stuff. The real estate that we talked about earlier, XLRE and RWR, which is the real estate sector, is actually more reddish, or let's say with almost the signal of zero. So the home builders that I told you earlier is the subsectors from the XLRE is actually really positive, but the sector is negative. So it's an interesting way that the algorithm takes a subsector and puts it on the head of the table. And we can also see the Israeli market is pretty reddish here, with the banks in Israel already a little bit red. So that's the interesting forecast that the algorithm gave us today for the next month, focusing on home builders, semiconductors, Japan, technology stocks that looks pretty good, and also some of the retail stocks looks pretty interesting for the next month. All right. So I'll remind you our 3 interesting webinar sales. We got 1+1 for $299, no commitment. You can cancel it anytime. The second webinar sale, we have the 3-month subscription with $330 per month for the AI-powered portfolio. And the next rebalancing is happening on the 20th of August. And our third and last webinar sale is the 12-month subscription. You can choose any package that you want, and you combine it with the AI portfolio for $299 per month, paid every 12 months. Those are our 3 special webinar sales that are available for the next 24 hours. So quickly use those amazing webinar sales, and you can also find it in the chat, the links for those sales. Just click on the links and you will get to the webinar sales, and you can also find those sales in our website as well. All right. Yaron?
Yes. I know. I'm thinking what is my favorite deal. I think deal number 3 is my
Deal
favorite.
number 3 is interesting. Of course, the AI package. I think it's amazing. It's amazing package, the AI portfolio. And of course, combining it with any other package, if it's the home builders of semiconductors, the S&P 500, would be really, really good. And I think we have some questions here.
Yeah, there are questions about specific tickers. We were actually mentioning some of the tickers. Just a minute, let's see if we have. Okay, there is a request to review again the performance of the AI portfolio, if you can, in the recent months.
Sure.
Okay, I see also a question, what is the difference between the AI portfolio and the combined strategy that is available for institutional? So this is the first thing. The combined strategy is available to high net worth individuals and institutionals only, meaning hedge funds, family offices that can also go long and also short. So the first difference is that the AI portfolio is a long-only portfolio. Here we can see, for instance, the recent portfolio that is going to be a rebalance on Wednesday, has been mentioned. We can see the 10 tickers, and we can see also the ETFs that the AI was choosing the QQQ and the XHB. Right now, this portfolio is behind the market, behind the S&P 500. But you can see that in the previous examples, we have already 5 portfolios, right, Ben?
Yeah, we have 5 portfolio, and if you're looking from the beginning of April, we are outperforming the S&P by 15.6%.
Right, and usually when there is an outperformance, you can see that it significant outperformance.
And it's not over yet. We have
And
one
it's
more
not
day.
over yet. Ben is very, yeah, it's not over yet, but you can see the monthly portfolio since April, and you can see it also when the market, I think the most fascinating thing again is that in April the market was going down. Remember the volatility that we have seen on April. So here you can monitor the monthly performance. We will share in the website also the updated performance by the end of this month on Wednesday, while we're going to share also the fresh portfolio.
Yes, let's see if we have any other questions.
Second, okay. Again, there is a question. If it's possible to see the live forecast again. If you go back to this slide. Yeah, as Ben mentioned, home builders is interesting right now. Semiconductors could be interesting, and I totally agree with you regarding Japan. We see here 3 indicators that point toward Japan, at least based on today's forecast. We see Nikkei 225, we see EWJ, and we see also the topics. Also, the banking sector in Europe is quite interesting. We see it for a while already. Yeah, and in general, the prediction looks positive for the upcoming month.
Yeah, the market looks quite positive and seems good for the next month.
Okay, great. Ben, thank you very much for a very interesting webinar. We are also available for any additional questions via email, so feel free to contact us.
Thank you, Yaron.
Thank you very much. I see Dr. Roitman in the crowd, so thank you very much, Dr. Roitman, and good luck with your investment.
Good luck, guys. Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye-bye. Thank you very much.